Senator Lockerbie, who has been pursuing justice in the Pan Am 103 bombing since the very beginning, and with a series of family members, some of which you will hear from shortly, as we move into the next phase of our efforts to try to get to both the truth and to have some justice at the end of the day. We're here today at Newark International's terminal, a reminder of the tragic events that began at a similar international terminal at Heathrow and ended in the death of 189 Americans, including 38 from New Jersey, aboard Pan Am Flight 103. And we're here to outline how, since key witnesses have yet to agree to appear at the Senate hearing that I will chair, and that was originally scheduled for last Thursday, we have launched a new plan to get to the bottom of the circumstances surrounding the release of Abdelbasset al-Megrahi. Those key witnesses from BP and the British and Scottish governments have stonewalled to this point, and I'm disappointed that they have found it necessary to do so, but we are ready to move forward to a new phase. Some who could have the most to say have been the least willing to answer questions, but we do not intend to take it lying down. We do not plan to pack up and consider it case closed. This is not over. We will be persistent, pervasive, and public in our quest for full information about the release of a terrorist responsible for 189 American deaths, a man whose very freedom is a beacon of hope to future terrorists. It tells them that they can too live in the lap of luxury even if their hands are stained with American blood. We owe our continuing fullest effort to the families of the victims. We owe it to the American people, and we can demand nothing less of ourselves. Our retooled plan is meant to drill down as far as necessary until we get full information about the medical decision that allowed al-Megrahi to walk free, and whether BP had any influence in the al-Megrahi release as it pursued its business interests in Libya. In the coming weeks, my staff will be conducting a new investigation that will lead to a new round of hearings, which we are targeting for September. The goal is for a full and thorough investigation that will not only shed new light on this matter, but will provide new depth to our rescheduled hearings. This investigation is beginning with a thorough review and re-review of all documents that we have acquired. These documents include previously made public documents by the British and Scottish governments, as well as additional documents we have received from the British government, mostly in the nature of email communications. Based on the document review, we'll request additional documents from the British, Scottish, Libyan, and U.S. governments, and from BP, related to specific topics we believe are not fully answered. And we will request formal interviews with individuals key to this matter, and will offer to conduct those interviews in the United Kingdom or elsewhere if need be. In addition to these investigative actions, we have officially asked the key witnesses who were not willing to testify last week to tell us whether they would be able to appear before the committee in September. This longer lead time will allow them to avoid scheduling conflicts and to reconsider participating altogether. We'll be looking into the possibility of exercising whatever subpoena power the committee might have to require certain witnesses to appear, particularly BP's outgoing CEO, Tony Hayworth, because he's part of a company doing business in the United States. I have to say I was beyond disappointed that Mr. Hayworth told reporters that he couldn't testify last week because he was too busy. It must be nice to be too busy negotiating a multi-million-dollar golden parachute to ignore a U.S. Senate hearing examining whether your company traded blood for oil. I have formally asked him to provide a date in September that perhaps isn't so hectic, a time when he's not so busy. I would assume that his schedule will be opening up, leading to his October departure from the company. I will not accept BP's offer to send a lower-ranking official with no particular knowledge of the company's talks with Libya to testify. I see that as a way to avoiding answering the most relevant questions by simply pleading ignorance rather than providing the truth about what took place. Also today, I, along with Senators Lautenberg, Gillibrand, and Schumer, are sending a letter to First Minister Salmond of Scotland, which is the first in a series asking relevant follow-up questions. Though the Scottish government disappointingly declined to send either of our requested witnesses for the original hearing date, I do appreciate its offer to answer additional questions we might have. I do not consider this a fully adequate substitute for testimony, but we intend to take them up on their offer frequently and publicly. Regarding the letter sent today, the Scottish government has consistently cited the inquiry into Al Megrahi's release, conducted by Scottish Parliament and its Justice Committee, as if it sufficiently settled all questions on the matter. However, we have looked at that inquiry, and it seems extremely limited in nature. It focused solely on the process, not the decision to release Al Megrahi. And the roster of witnesses questioned was quite small. So today we're asking the Scottish government to explain not only why it is satisfied by such a bare-bones inquiry, but also why no attempt to undertake a fuller, independent investigation was made. These are just the first of many questions we have for a series of these different players in the decision, and of course for BP as well. We intend to get answers through written requests, through document reviews, through in-person interviews, and through a Senate hearing this coming September. We owe it to the victims' families, to the American people, and to our fight against terrorism as to why Al Megrahi was released and the circumstances surrounding that release. The bottom line is we have launched our investigation. We'll reset the hearings, and we intend to find answers. It simply is not over.